guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to talk about brushes. So yeah, we're just going to talk about makeup brushes. We're going to talk about brushes for the face, brushes for your eyes, my favorite brushes that I use, cheap brushes. I don't have no expensive brushes, so they're all cheap brushes. But yeah, if you are interested in this video, if you want to learn more about makeup brushes, then keep on watching. So I want to start off with face brushes first. So originally I used to use a beauty blender, but you know, brushes actually, or not brushes, sponges actually soak up more products unless you have a sponge that doesn't, like this Juno & Co sponge. This doesn't soak up products like a beauty blender. Oh my god, why can't I talk? Anyways, it doesn't soak up products like a beauty blender does. So the first brush that I started using when I started to do makeup was this brush right here, because I'm showing it to you. But this is the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. What the heck? I've tried to say this like 3 times. Anyways, yes, Real Techniques brush for the face. And yeah, it is just a dense brush, and honestly the way that I use it is I kind of pat and swipe at the same time to apply my foundation. Yeah, this is a good brush. It is a little streaky, and the other 2 brushes that I'm about to show you are not as streaky, oh my gosh, as this one. So the next brush that I started using that I still love to this day is the Morphe Y6. This, first of all, I just like it because it's gold, it looks prestige, it looks, you know, bomb AF. But yeah, so this one is, actually I feel like this one is less dense than the Real Techniques brush, but it's also fanned out a little bit more, so it's a wider, you get a wider surface area that you cover versus, let me show you. So for trying to use a brush over your entire face that is this small versus a brush that is this big. So I really like this one a lot. I've stopped using it as much. It's very soft and everything, but I just stopped using it as much because so I actually got the Morphe M444 brush. This brush is honestly kind of like both of these combined into one, because it's very dense like the Real Techniques brush, but it is bigger, so it covers a wider surface area, and it's honestly more dense than the Real Techniques brush. But yes, it is so awesome, and I use it the same way that I use the others, kind of pressing in but also kind of swiping a little bit to get the coverage that you want. Okay, next up, let's kind of go in order, I guess. So concealer brushes, I don't know, there's not really order to this. So these are the 2 this way. These are the 2 concealer brushes that I use. They are both from Morphe. So this flathead one is the Morphe 410 brush, and I use this brush whenever I am carving out my eyebrows. So I use it underneath my eyebrows and over top, just to you know, define them a little more and things like that. And I used to use this to also like cut out the crease or do a halo eye, things like that. I used to use this, but I have one that's a little rounder and a little smaller that works more precise for those types of looks. And then the next one is the Morphe 173. Y'all, I literally love this brush. So I use this whenever I am priming my eyelids. So what I'll do is put my concealer on my eyes, and I will just use this in the same manner that I use foundation brushes, you know, kind of buffing in and swiping at the same time, and I will swipe the concealer all over my eyes. So yes, I highly recommend that if you are just starting out and you want to use brushes, this brush will save you so much time, honestly, in doing your concealer. However, I wouldn't do concealer like on my under my eyes with this. So I mean, you could honestly blend out your concealer on your eyelids with the sponge if you wanted to. So it's just preference, I guess. And then whenever I am baking under my eye, which technically, so I don't bake anymore. What I really do is just use a sponge, or I'll use my brush and well, the brush that I'm about to show you, and I use that to kind of lightly dust on powder underneath my eyes. I don't bake anymore because I don't find the need to. It makes you look more cakey. Honestly, in my opinion, it does, especially if you're already using a heavy duty foundation and a heavy duty concealer. Like, baking is just going to make it worse. So what I like to use to apply my loose powder is the Morphe M536 brush, and this is just a little bullet size brush that, let me move my glasses, is perfect for just pressing underneath the eye, you know, like just dabbing underneath the eye or dabbing the chin, the forehead, and I use it also to kind of carve out just a little bit, but yeah, this is perfect. Next up with face brushes, we have the contour brush. So I use the Morphe 530. If you haven't seen the trend here, I like Morphe brushes. They are cheap, they are affordable, they are worth the money. Like, seriously, they are worth the money. And I'm not sponsored, obviously, because I only have 50 subscribers, so I'm telling the truth here when I say this. But this is a contour brush that I recently started using. I don't know, I just really like the shape. It's small, you can really get in there when you're wanting to do your contour. So I don't know, I really like it. And before, this is the brush that I was using. It is so dusty and crusty, but this is a Wet n Wild brush. Like, you can barely even see the Wet n Wild on there, but it's just a Wet n Wild angled brush, I think that's what it's called. So yeah, I used to use this to do it. I like this too. It's just, again, preference. And then this is another brush this is actually a foundation brush. So this is from Luxie. It's their 660 Precision Foundation Brush. I never use this for foundation ever in my life because this is a weird, no, why would someone use this to put foundation on the face? Anyways, that ain't none of my business. But I used it for contour, bronzer, in the same manner that I use these. So honestly, any of these brushes are going to be perfect for contouring. So for blush, I have two brushes. So these are the two brushes. They are very different in size. This one is a BH Cosmetics brush. It does not have a number or anything of that nature. It's just a BH Cosmetics brush. And this one is a Wet n Wild brush. If I could suggest to you either of these brushes, Wet n Wild. Wet n Wild for multiple reasons. This brush is $1, literally $1. It might be $2.99 in some areas now because inflation. But yes, this is the cheapest brush that you will ever find. It works perfectly. Hell, I used it today to put on my blush. You can't really see it because I've started doing my blush differently. Like, I just kind of pat it on to get a little kind of blushy look. I don't know. I don't like go ham with blush like I used to, if you've seen my senior pictures. Homegirl had blush everywhere. I don't do that no more because that was not a good look for me. And I'm mad at my friends for not telling me. I'm judging you all right now. You should have told me that my blush looked a hot mess. Anyways, yeah. So this is great. It is cheap. It is affordable. With this brush, you have to buy it online because they don't sell their brushes in stores, and if they do, they don't sell it in freaking Wichita. So anyway, and this brush is huge as shit. If I want to get a more blushier look, because there are some looks, you know, where having not a lot of blush but having more blush in more areas looks good. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I'll use this every now and then. So yeah, if you want to get one, I suggest Wet n Wild. You can find these at the Dollar Tree. Yes, the Dollar Tree. You can find these at Walgreens, CVS, Walmart, every damn where. Okay, brushes for all over the face. So before I got my amazing Morphe M536 brush, I was using this brush to put product underneath my eye. It's kind of set the face and all that good stuff. This is again another BH Cosmetics brush. Actually, these brushes, the brushes from BH Cosmetics that have these handles on them, came in a pack with like this brush holder, and it was like $16.99 or something. So I guess these are relatively cheap too, but you would have to go online, order them, wait for them to be shipped, pay shipping. So anyways, and then the other brush is the Morphe E51 brush. I like this brush. I use it for my pressed powders whenever I'm wanting to kind of set the rest of my face. But this is huge. They have another one on their website that is a little smaller, and it's the same exact brush, same exact design with this kind of angledness going on. It's just kind of smaller, and I think I like that better because I don't have a large face and I don't need to set in a large area of my face. So yeah. Other brushes for the face. Yeah, so to highlight. So my favorite highlighting brush, my only highlighting brush, honestly, is the Morphe Y14. It's this little angled brush, and it's perfect because it just gets right in there and it highlights, it does what you need to do, and you can go. You don't have to worry about it being all over your face and your cheek, because I've seen people use brushes that look like this to highlight, and I just don't get it. I don't. But if it works for you, do you, boo. But yeah, Morphe Y14. This is literally the only brush that I use to highlight. So moving on to eyeshadow brushes, and I want you all to know really quickly that I will be kind of consolidating brushes that I feel like you really need and talking about them at the end of this video as kind of a beginner's guide to makeup brushes that you would need in your arsenal. So I'm not going to show you all of my brushes because I got too many. I have a problem. Send help, please. Thanks. So I'm just going to kind of show you the categories of brushes and then what they're used for, things like that, and I guess tell you about my favorites in that category. That's what I'll do. So one of my favorites and most affordable blending brushes, y'all, right here, Wet n Wild. Like I said before about the other Wet n Wild brushes, this is like $1, maybe $2.99 in some places, but literally, like, if you just had 2 or 3 of these, you would be good to go. Like, seriously, these are so bomb. I'm in love, okay? I am literally in love with Wet n Wild brushes because they're just amazing. Another smaller fluffy brush that is more tailored to, you know, getting a little bit more detail, or if you want to use it in your crease to kind of get a little bit more definition, is the Morphe M562 brush. It's like tiny as hell, but this will help you like really get detailed if you want to make some extravagant look. And then kind of going even smaller. So there's two brushes that I actually want to talk about. So these are just kind of smaller blending brushes. They're both from Morphe. This is the Morphe E36 right here. I use this for inner corner highlight in my eye. So I use it to like put this bright pink color. I use this brush for that. And then brushes like this one, the Morphe 431 brush. Oh my gosh, like I wish you guys could see this better, but my camera doesn't autofocus, and if you see me looking this way, it's because my monitor is right here. But yeah, so this is a smaller, I wouldn't even call it a blending brush honestly, because it's so tapered to the point where like there's not a whole lot of blending you can do with this. But I use this for under the eye, so that color that you see right here, like I'll use that just to kind of sweep color underneath the eye. And then moving into flat brushes. So earlier I had mentioned that I like to use a smaller concealer brush that has a more round edge for like carving the crease or doing a halo eye, things of that nature. I use the Morphe M421 brush, and it is just a flat curved concealer brush. So yeah, that's what I use for that. Kind of just going through my brushes as I speak. Where are my flat brushes? There's some brushes that need to be cleaned. So like to pack colors onto the crease, I either use, here it is. I use one of two. So I have two of these brushes because they came in my Ipsy bag. This is the Luxie 249, and it's a double-ended brush. So this end is good for blending, and then this end is flat, and it's good for packing on color onto the lid. And then if I want to pack on more of a glittery shade or more precisely, I guess you could say, I'll use one of the brushes from my BH Cosmetics collection, and it's just super flat. Let's see, and then we have a liner brush. This is also from the BH Cosmetics brush set, and it is like very sharp, and yeah, you can do some really good precise liner with this. And then I have a shader brush. This is also from BH Cosmetics. This is their number 5 brush. And it's good for, you know, smudging out the lower lash line or smudging out the upper, like your liner on your lid or anything like that. And that's pretty much my brushes. That's pretty much the brush. So that's pretty much the brushes in each category that I kind of have. I just have multiples of some, or I have multiple types of blending brushes, things like that. But honestly, if you are just starting out, the only brushes that no. If you are just starting out, what I recommend for you is to get you a sponge, whether that is a beauty blender, whether that is Fenty Beauty sponge. I recommend that you get a sponge. Now, if you go for a sponge that is like this one that does not soak up product, this will save you more money in the long run, honestly. So this is six bucks, I think, is what it cost whenever I got it. I don't know if it's went up or not, but this was $6, and you use way less product because this is able to cover so much more surface and like it spreads out your product more evenly because it's not soaking up so much product. You get what I'm saying? But honestly, I would wait until you get a little more used to makeup, I guess, because you don't always like, well, I don't know. It depends on how you are as a person, I guess. If you want to go for the product that will save you more, Juno & Co. If you want to go for any other beauty sponge, beauty blender, Fenty Beauty's sponge is actually cheaper than the beauty blender, and honestly it works the same in my opinion. Plus, I mean, you're supporting Rihanna, and beauty blender got some problems of their own with their little trash ass makeup range. So, but anyway, do what you want to do on that note. But I recommend that you have a sponge for sure, because there's going to be some days where you want to use a sponge and you don't want to use a makeup brush. I highly recommend that you get this brush. You can go to Ulta. You can go straight to Morphe's website. This is going to be the best foundation brush that you will ever own. Again, in my opinion, so take that with a grain of salt. But honestly, this is bomb. I am buying another one of these so that I can use it on people whenever I do their makeup, because it's that great, like literally that great. I would suggest that you get you a nice blush brush. And I highly suggest the Wet n Wild blush brush. For contour, if you're just starting out, again, go Wet n Wild, because this brush is bomb and it can double as a contour brush and a blush brush. Oh my gosh, ugh, it's so hard to talk. So you could honestly get this and use it for both, because at the end of the day, like, your blush is going to blend into your contour. So that's just me though. Like, I'm always using the same brush because I get lazy, you know. I did forget to talk about the stippling brushes. I use these, so if I'm going to put color corrector on, I'll use a stippling brush to kind of blend that out. Or if I decide I want to use my cream contour, I'll use this. They're both from e.l.f. They're the exact same brush. One's just has more of, I don't know, the length of the white hairs is different. They're the same brush. This you could pass on, because you could honestly use your beauty blender to blend out that and then go over, you know, so you don't have to have this in your collection. So right now we have these. What else would I recommend? I recommend that you get you a concealer brush, whether you go for one that looks like this, one that looks like this, which this is from Shop Miss A, and this was $1. It's very firm though, so I don't know if I would suggest this one. But yeah, if you want to go for one that has a rounder edge or whatever have you, I suggest getting one of these so that you can carve out your brows if you do your brows. Recommend a highlighting brush. Like, you need one. Who doesn't like highlight? So here we go. I recommend that you get you a few Wet n Wild blending brushes. Just get you a few of those. Get you a flat brush for packing on eyeshadows. This is from Wet n Wild again. And if you like gel liner, I suggest that you get you a liner brush. I didn't show this one before, but this is the Morphe M443. It's a liner brush. That's if you like gel liner. If you're a liquid liner person like I am, then you don't even need one of these. Let me think. And then just a brush to go underneath your eye, which you can do the Morphe brush, or for a cheaper option, e.l.f. has these brushes. I can't remember for the life of me what they're called. They're a little bigger than the Morphe brushes, but they still work the same when you're trying to get underneath the eye to put some color down there. And honestly, this is all you need. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 makeup brushes. 9. That's it. Like literally, you don't need anything else aside from a sponge. So 10 max. And if you wanted to, it could still be 9 products because you could take out the contour or the blush, whichever one, and boom. If you don't use liner, that's another one gone. Boom. That's 8 max. So yeah. Anyways, I hope this helps you in some way, shape, or form. I hope you were able to learn a little bit about brushes, learn a little bit about kind of what's needed in your arsenal or what's good for you if you are beginning. If you have any more questions, comments, or anything like that, please leave them down below. I will answer any questions you have about makeup brushes or makeup tools. And if you'd like to see more content from me, go ahead and subscribe so that you are able to know when I upload a video. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And that is all. I will see you guys in the next video.